And we're live. Live, spiraling out of control. As named by Jazzy, the fifth show of the Deviated September tour. Named by Doug. Hey to everybody who's here. We have Bodybuilder To Be Strongneck, Jazzy, Staffy, Thunderbird Skibotsky, Wookie 2085's here. Not Allegra, Mr. Robert, Wow Wow, Soda, Mind Over Muty, Pierre TV, Angry Chicken, Bean Salsa. Oops, just moved. Let's see. It's Friday. And thanks Angry Chicken for the 12-month sub. And Bean Salsa for a 10-month sub. Thank you. And thanks Mind Over Muty gifted a sub to Wookie 2085. Thank you. I'm the demon? Staffy says kid's the demon. I had this discovery today that probably y'all already knew, but it was news to me. I had no idea how many calories was in oil, like olive oil. Couldn't believe it. Tablespoon of olive oil is over 100 calories. Which I want. I'm gonna start putting olive oil in my lunch to get precious calories. Apparently olive oil is really good for you. I mean, I've known that for a while, but I didn't realize how good it was for you and how I could get good calories. I need more good calories. A tablespoon, that's so easy. It's so easy, but I don't know, how much does that cost? Does anyone know? Maybe that's really expensive. Is it really expensive calories? Hey, Botsky. Jazz, that was a very hard venue to make suggest for. The image was wrong. Did it look weird? Was it a weird image? Too abstract. I love abstract, obviously. I do a lot of abstract stuff. Muses, but it's non-saturated fat, which is like possible because your body needs to work more to store it. Saturate your body absorbs it like whoa. I realize I get too many of my calories from historically from carbohydrates. So I'm trying to. This is all in preparation of my new lifestyle in a vehicle. I want to have a really great, healthy, simple diet so that there's no risk of me just going and getting fudge rounds and living off of fudge rounds. I could do that when I was 20, and I did it when I was in my 20s, but I can't do that now. Mr. Roberts says, I'm seeing the cheapest Walmart brand is $4 for 17 ounces. Okay, so how many tablespoons in an ounce? I can't remember. Spoons in an ounce. 2 tablespoons. So that's 34 tablespoons. So if I'm doing my math quickly right, I always do bad at math when I'm on camera, but that means it's about 11 cents a tablespoon. That's a great value. For 100 calories, that's good value. It's not as good value as, no, it's better value than fudge rounds. Well, fudge rounds back in the day. Fudge rounds back in the day were 50 cents. No, they were a quarter. They were a quarter. Oh, they used to be better value. Now they're 50 cents, I think. So they're a quarter, and I think it was 400 calories. But now it's 50 cents for 400, so olive oil is better. So So if I'm in a bind, and the choice is drink 4 tablespoons of olive oil or eat a fudge round, I'm going to go with the olive oil. That's my plan. And because you're comparing calories per dollar, not by health. Media says, what about eating apples? I do. I love apples. Yeah, I haven't been eating as much. I don't know. I just haven't been as into them as much as I used to be. But I'm sure I'll get back into it. Blue Nana's, hey Blue Nana, says linseed oil. Yeah, I'm gonna diverse. I'm gonna try all sorts of oils. I heard coconut oil is supposedly really good. Canola oil, yeah. Muti says canola oil. Botsky says that your motor oil works. I still haven't found what's gonna be my dinner. I haven't. My dinner on the road. I think it's probably gonna be something involving tortillas. Something in tortillas, probably. Okay, let's see. Create new empty track. Me says, don't ask if you don't feel comfortable would you eat roadkill. Because it's better to eat your bunny got wrong than let it go to waste. I don't think I would eat roadkill. I don't think I would. I don't know. Now that I've been through infections and know how difficult it is to get rid of infections, I don't know how risky I'm gonna go with the eating roadkill. Hey, Third Dimension. How are you? And welcome Fulcrum Tales and Pete Mouse. Lookies, maybe this one will go the long mile. Stavis, doesn't the sun bleach out the germs? Can someone go? I'm sure people have asked this question on Google. Is it safe to eat roadkill? Can somebody check? I mean, I think it probably really depends how old the roadkill is. Fresh roadkill is fine, right? I mean, if you're the one who unfortunately takes this animal out, right? And you see as it happens, this poor thing, I suppose that's relatively safe, right? But if it's roadkill that you just happen to come upon, you don't know how long it's been there. You don't know if the maggots have started. Although, are maggots bad for you? Or maggots fine, right? Can you eat maggots and it's just they just... Because people used to use maggots on wounds, right? So maybe I should start eating maggots. Should I put maggots on my leg? Oh, thanks so much, Mr. Robert. Mr. Robert, the donation's getting us started off, says for the oil fund. Thank you. Mr. Robert's going to keep me in olive oil. I'm going to be able to swim in olive oil. I'm going to have a bathtub in the van just with olive oil. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Robert. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, Allegra. Botsky says rubber and asphalt is not sterilized. I'd cook it. I'm not gonna eat raw roadkill. I'm gonna cook it, I think. And anyone just joining, I did not come. This was not my idea. Muty started this discussion of whether or not I would eat roadkill, and I mean, if I were desperate, I guess I would. I guess I would. Tubi, if we were without food, would you eat me?
I wouldn't have it any other way.
A little quiet, I think. Were you a little quiet? Hey, I'm the Jackal. How are you? It's good to see you. And your wife said I'm her favorite Twitch streamer. Well, thank you, wife of the Jackal. Thank you. That actually sounds cool. Wife of the Jackal. It's good to see you, though. How things have been good. Fulgrim says this is a big trend of eating bugs. This is the thing. I've been streaming so long. Y'all are gonna hear the same stories over and over again. Most of you, but for anyone who hasn't heard this, I lived in West Africa when I was a little kid, and there was this thing that happened. These flying ants would lose their wings, and all these flying ants would fall on the grounds. And I guess it was a popular thing to take them and fry them, and they'd be just like popcorn. I don't think I ever had them, but I would try them now. I'd definitely try it now. Let's see, we got some milestones. Staffy's 950th Drumfill. 950th. Oh, and Third Dog mentioned Aim to Sound. Most deaf. Oh, and thanks, Doug did an offline donation that saved a Last Chance Sound. I think that might be the Last Chance Sound. I definitely added it to your repertoire, so I'm assuming that's it. But thank you, Doug. Thank you. Wow, that puts an additional spin on it, Fulcrum Dales. Huh. I don't know why that makes it seem gross, more gross. I mean, how is that any more gross than eating a... Hey, Damien Noga, welcome. Let's see. Jack, what do you dance? I think why I'm not afraid is we've all eaten insects. A lot of them. Not by choice, but we have. And we're fine, right? We're all fine. But we've all eaten so many bugs without realizing it in our food and our, So we're still here. So I'm not afraid of eating bugs. He says, I would eat roadkill. I see it as a badge of honor for a fallen animal, especially if it's me causing the ill-fated event. That I don't know if I'm inventing this memory, Muty. I might be inventing this memory. I'm not sure. Part of it, I know for sure I had venison as a kid. And I have this memory that's forming, or that I might be imagining it, but I think I remember that someone gave us venison of a deer that they hit. Now that I think about it, because we didn't buy it. Someone gave us venison. So I may have already eaten roadkill. Now that I think about it, angry chicken eats several spiders per night. Botsky says, if you hit a deer with your van, you would have venison. Welcome Tales as the fly went through food directly into my throat. I was running. It was the most bitter thing I've ever had to taste. Disgusting. I don't know why, Fogger, but you saying that made me think I need to have a sequence in my YouTube show coming up when I'm in the van, which is Tubi sticking his head out the window. And I mean, this is not a fully formed idea yet, but something involving Tubi sticking his head out the window and just getting destroyed by bugs. And then we cut to Tubi's face. It's just so perfect, right? A robot covered in bugs, a computer covered in bugs. Oh, speaking of which, Muty, you mentioned, you reminded me of yesterday. You mentioned on the Rick, I think it was yesterday. You mentioned Rick and Morty, the interplanetary cable thing, which I think is it's an awesome idea on their show. And then I was thinking it'd be actually cool to have a TV that I can use as a way to cut between different segments of the show, right? Because if I'm in one segment and then there's the TV and it's like, okay, let's watch this now, and it's on the TV and then we cut to the full frame, right? So I was thinking about that and I was starting to look for TVs, and I get a little impulsive when I get an idea in my head sometimes. I nearly ordered a vintage TV from Serbia today. I was about to do it. I thought, let's just think about this idea a little longer before. It wasn't very much money. It was going to be, it was a lot of money for me right now, but we're not talking thousands of dollars. It was going to be $100 with shipping or something, $120. It looked really cool. It was a little tiny vintage TV. It was sort of long, very, very retro looking. But, the more I thought about it, I thought, it's the shot that I was imagining, because I didn't know the size of it when I saw it. I was like, that looks amazing. I want to get it. That size, what I'm imagining would be really funny if I'm outside with Tubi and we have the screen set up, but it's 4 or 5 feet away. So the only way that's going to work is if it's a pretty big screen. So my new idea is to get an old TV and take a chainsaw and just chop off everything. I'm just going to take the first inch of the TV, which I'm not going to be able to have the screen on it, I don't think. So, but that's just fine because I'm going to put a green screen. So it'll be this very lightweight, thin thing. But from the front, if I shoot straight on at the TV, I could be out in the redwood forest or something. And me and Tubi are sitting, with our campfire. We got our TV out front. So I still might do that, but I love that. And then I was thinking, that little TV though would be sweet. It could also serve as on the dashboard when I want to make the front of the van look like like I'm in a spaceship. Could use that as a monitor. It would look very cool, but $100, unless I'm sure I can't do that. So I was looking on Craigslist. Are there any big old, wooden TVs? We had one in the 70s. We had one from the 70s, but I don't know that it was wood. I think it might have been that fake plastic wood, that heinous thing that they used to make everything out of. I don't know if I can easily cut that with a chainsaw. I don't have a chainsaw anyway. But where do I don't know. I'm sure I could find somebody with a chainsaw. That would probably be sloppy, right? There must be some easier way to take a big TV and just chop off everything but the front inch. I don't know. Bozzy says a vintage TV from Serbia. I'm dying right now. Well, technically it's not from Serbia. Technically, it is. I was going to buy it from Serbia, but I think it's a Yugoslavian one. Let me see. I'll show it on screen. Oh, and I can't. Can I show it on screen without it? Let's see. But then I started looking at retro TVs, and there's some awesome stuff. It looks so cool. And I was looking at retro phones and retro typewriters. I had a really cool retro typewriter at one point, and then I sold it when I left California. Because it might be fun to have a little tiny typewriter. There's so many things you can use that for. Let's see, where is it? There it is, from Yugoslavia, yeah. But sold in Serbia. Oh no, that's not the one. Is this gonna show my username anywhere now? Let's see. Okay, I'll show this. I'll show the one I was seriously thinking about getting. And then I also didn't like the color that much. I liked how it looked. Oh no, it's got sold. Aw. Well, anyway, it's fine. Because I shouldn't have gotten it anyway. Let's see, can I show you this? Wait, is there anything on here that you're not going to see? My Etsy username, are you? Try to keep those things private. Here it is. Here it is. Me says, I love typewriters. Guess which one I have? It's been in the news past 2 years. It's been in the news. I don't know. There's a pun or something here. I don't know. The one I had was it was an Italian. It's a famous Italian typewriter brand. Olivetti, I think. It was an old Olive. I had an old Olivetti. So I had. Oh, Corona. I knew it was a pun. I knew it was a pun. Okay, let's see. Here's the one I was thinking about buying, but now it's someone else bought it anyway, just as well, because I don't like the color. But here it is. But I like this more because I like the color of this more. I want something bright color, I think, if I get this retro style, which is more that kind of thing. Sorry, my monitor's having a hard time. But these things are so fun. If I had lots of money, or even just a little bit of money, I would just spend my money on junk like this. You know, I totally identify with the sort of Pee-wee Playhouse. Just it's a ridiculous, absurd kind of. I think when I was younger, I wanted to think of myself as having taste, but the reality is I don't. I don't have any taste. I like silly looking stuff like this. I like the shapes of these, those bulbous looking things. But I think for what I'm thinking of this show, I mean, I probably just need to get one of the. It's probably a late mid 60s or something. Just a wooden TV set, wooden frame that I can just easily cut and put a back frame on it so it's a little sturdy enough, and with the green screen, and then I can just set. I think that would be a great shot, especially if I got two sort of lawn chairs, and it's me and Tubi, and you're shooting over our shoulders, right? So you see our shoulders, and we're looking at the TV, but then we're outside, and it's a big mountain range or something, but we're watching TV, and it's not plugged in or anything. Whoops. Billboard. Oh, there we go. Okay. He says you gotta get one of those rabbit ears. Yeah, I was thinking it'd be a cool little cut sequence where you have sort of quick cuts of the TV being placed on the ground, and then the with sound effects, boom, and then whoosh as you pull out the antenna or rabbit ears or something. Then maybe I could have I could make a plug or the retractable things or whatever, so I could plug it into a tree, but not actually plug it into a tree. Staffy, this isn't a lack of taste, a symptom. He says, can we have a fireman's pole in the van? That's another idea. We could have stories from of a fireman. That's an idea. Yeah, I'm only a big child. Okay, I better get going. We don't have that much time. Problem is I need to make a back of a head for Tubi. The other day I went and measured all of Tubi's measurements and wrote them down just in case Tubi's head gets damaged. I can sort of recreate it theoretically. I mean, Tubi's head is damaged. If you could see, it doesn't look good from behind at all. But really what I wanted, I need to find someone who can 3D print a head for Tubi so that it's sturdier. But I imagine that would cost a fair amount of money. Because I wouldn't want a solid block. I want it to be empty inside because, Tubi's empty inside. Right, Tubi? Right, Tubi?
Look who has a raisin in their cookie.
He says, how about this for a second? You do hidden cam Uber driving and hopefully there's a place with 3 people in the van and Tubi. And you never meant to think about the bot. That would be pretty funny. That would be funny. I mean, I could do man on the street kind of things where, I'm just in some random town and I set up a card table and Tubi and I sit down and people just come and talk to Tubi. I mean, I have to develop my Tubi skills a lot. I started building a really powerful way to control Tubi for the game show, but then because the game show didn't, well, it was really fun, but it didn't have legs like I hoped it would. So I stopped development on that. But with some practice, Tubi could be a pretty good conversationalist. Fast responses, repeating words that other people say, so it feels a lot more interactive. Mr. Roberts, I know out of libraries of 3D printers. Oh, huh. Well, so Tubi's head is 12 and a quarter inch high. So it's, you need a decent size printer. 12 and a quarter inch. It's weird. I was like, on one side of Tubi's head it says 12 and 1/16, and the other says it's 12 and 1/4. Why do I have two different measurements? And then I remembered Tubi's head is intentionally not. It's not a straight on the top. It's slightly at an angle, just a very little angle. The difference between a 16th and a quarter inch. That was intentional. I think it was intentional. Logic script. Logic. Oh man, this is gonna. Okay, now we're getting into crisis. We're gonna get in trouble. I gotta hurry now. If the sounds didn't load. Why are you on that screen? What are you doing? No. You shouldn't be doing that. Not right now. No. Oh, good. Why did you start doing that? What are you doing, Tubi? Oh, there you go. Okay, good. Command period frantically deletes things that Tubi's supposed to do, or tries to stop Tubi from doing things. Okay, delete found records. I want to do that, right? Why won't it let me do that though? Oh, because I'm not actually finished. I am finished, so. Okay, delete found records, right? That's what I want to do? Yes. Okay, now I want to load the sounds. What is it, just that button? Is that it? Is it just sound? I don't remember. Yes, that is what it is. Okay. Our drum kit is I gotta really hurry. The XS 808. We do 8-note drums. First up, we got Bean Awake, Bean Salsa. Oh, and I was supposed to up the volume, I forgot. Here's Allegra. Okay, got our beats. Check out our sounds. First up, Funkatronic Calypso. You have some new sounds. Do you have the code handy? And then Soda BR Burb. Jazzy Dimensional Xeno Entities. Hey, Maul, thank you so much. 29 months. Miss Robert Doug's Quiet Gestures. Oki and Axe. Was your name last? I think it's probably just one of those. There's a bug. Yeah, I think it's probably just Oki. But I'll play that in just a second. And then Wolf Under Fossils. And then Botsky, Get Off My Lawn interlude. Okay, I'll pick which sound starts the improv. Well, let me just double check. So I think... Yeah, Axe is a bug. I don't know why. But Oki is correct. Here's Oki. Hey, Marshall Fosh Music. How are you? Thanks again for the raid the other day. Thank you. Or it was yesterday. Yesterday. Thank you. Here we go. Oh, not yet. End the poll first. Is it ties? Break this tie. Wolf under fossils. Is it not going to switch? Here we go. Here we go. Time to accelerate. Thanks for those scalps. Let's see, titles. Wookie 28.5 with Lightwave Bebop. Third Doug mentioned Weird Scientist. Tendenbrisky Botsky, Vanishing of the Kid. Pete, Remove Those Walls. Oh. This bug. There's got to be some easier way to fix it than just quitting. Reopen. Now, the camera 2 was looking weird, and I first thought it was the camera because I'd taken the lens out. Today, just before the show, I wanted to see. I put it on a different camera. I wanted to see if I could get a full shot of the two front seats of a vehicle from the dashboard, from where the mirror is, with a super wide angle lens on that kind of camera. So that theoretically you could see both me and Tubi or another passenger in a vehicle. And you can. You can. Even with that 2 times crop factor. But anyway, it was just that I have these very high-end garbage bags, plastic garbage bags that I cover my lights with, and I didn't realize that it slipped. So that's why it looks so weird. Maybe there's something else that made it look weird as well, other than me. Anyway, let's see. Let's get that pull up on the screen. Hey, Blue. Blue's here. There we go. We had Tubi on here. This was a Doug unlocked a Tubi Sing. Oh, well, thanks, Fulcrum Tales. Thanks for the cheer. Thank you. And I still owe Doug a 4 on the floor also. Pete named the sound Banana Stars. I mean, that track was almost a 4 on the floor, but we won't count it. Oh, and hey to Franhita. Thank you, Franhita. And hello to Gita Bell. Mucho mas. He says, remember the jail idea about a zoo, but you were the last human held captive in a world controlled by a random Batak engine. Oh, that's a whole, yeah. In the zoo. Human zoo. The human zoo. So it's an Electric Six album, Human Zoo. I feel like so does. I feel like you've mentioned Electric Six one other time. Is that possible? Oh, you just saw them last week, but you've seen them before last week, right? You've seen them not just last week. Because I feel like a couple years ago you mentioned them. Is that possible? That you saw them a couple years ago? Many times? Okay. Are they a Bay Area band? Is that not right? They're from Detroit. Definitely not Bay Area. Okay. Send this Bo. You've ever been to a concert that was memorable? I mean, my first big concert was Fish. I lived in Vermont, and Fish is from Vermont. I'm not a huge. I mean, I guess I liked them in high school. I don't really listen to them now at all, but I guess everybody liked them in high school. So that was memorable because I went with friends, and it's always fun to see concerts with your friends in high school. So that was memorable, just because it was my first big concert. But what did I like more? I think in high school I think one of my favorite shows in high school was actually small venue, very small venue. It was a restaurant called the Common Ground. It was a hippie restaurant in southern Vermont. And they'd clear the tables at night and, have not a big room. It was probably capacity, maybe 150 people, maybe. Anyway, there was this band called Moon Boot Lover. It was one of my favorite bands in that sort of the jam band 1990s scene. And just they went through several phases, but it was this particular incarnation that was my favorite. And it had the lead singer was Peter Prince, who's an incredible dynamic performer. I have to say, of that era, the only rock star I ever saw in the jam band scene. Jam band scene is not known for rock stars, They're not flashy, flamboyant, charismatic, really, in general. Fish or the Dead. I mean, obviously, Jerry Garcia has a presence, but he's not Jerry was not a showman at all, right? But anyway, Peter Prince, just tons of charisma. And then he had in his band, he had the Evans brothers, Neil and Alan Evans, who later formed a much more successful band called Soul Life. And there was also a bass player. But yeah, that was really fun, that show. I remember that. What else? Jimmy Heath. I saw Jimmy Heath. He's a tenor sax player, jazz musician. That was memorable. Do you used to listen to Soul Life? I know their guitar player. Jay says, oh, John Popper. I mean, are you saying as charismatic? Sort of a showman? I guess in the context of the jam band scene, I'd say yes, relative to the others. Barely. But you can compare John Popper to, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously I'm not saying he's not incredibly talented, but I don't think of him as a dynamic front Muse, was there a mosh pit? No, I wish I went to hardcore punk stuff when I was in high school, but I didn't. There wasn't much around, I don't think. And Wookiees named it Lightwave Bebop. Lightwave Bebop. Lightwave Bebop. Thank you, Wookie. Awesome title. I think that's your first title, right? Okay, milestones. Botsky's 300th song and Staffy's 2100th request. Another band from this sort of the jammy hippie funk era of the 90s. Remember they're one of the most successful. Spin Doctors. Who remembers the Spin Doctors? I don't know that they jammed much, but they were part of that scene. Hippie influence, groove, good vibe kind of music. Two Princes, yeah, that was their big hit. Two Princes. I remember there was a rumor in high school that they were going to play a show at somebody's house or something, and everybody was freaking out about it, but it was not true at all. Not true at all. But oh man, everyone was saying, "Oh, Spin Doctors are going to be at so and so's party." This was before the backlash. There was a big backlash against Spin Doctors. Does anyone remember the backlash? Hey, Chuggy. Well, Peter Prince from the band Moo Moo Lover, the album I really like is called Live Down Deep. It's a live album, obviously, by the name. The later stuff, once the Evans brothers left, I didn't really get into, but he had this very high voice, falsetto, and awesome, and he played guitar. He was just super. He had his thing. It makes me really sad that he didn't blow up. Because he had just his stage presence was rock star level. But he was an awesome musician too. I mean, he's an awesome singer But I think that kind of it just there's never been that much room for funk, on the radio. There's going to be one or two bands every once in a while, but at least since, from the 80s on. I mean, I think Prince is probably the only that I can think of, the only mega successful funk artist, right? Well, Chili Peppers, I guess. Although, do they still play much funk? Oh, well, I mean, that are after the 70s, Pete, is what I mean. Yeah, I mean, there were lots of successful funk bands in the 70s. But I mean, from the 80s on, Megas, it was all I can think of is Prince and Chili Peppers. I mean, there are lots of smaller artists like Fishbone and, lots of R&B, funk, but I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody very key. Our drum kit is the electronic dub kit. B-Says Tower Power still makes music. Oh yeah, but they're not superstars. They're not like, they're not. I mean, they're incredible, but I mean, they have not been. They play venues. You can see them in a venue with like 300 people, 400 people, And I'm not saying that there's, most of the artists that I like do not play mega venues, but it's just noticing that funk is just not been mainstream popular really since, late the 70s and Prince pretty much. Let's see. But yeah, they're definitely playing and making albums. Oh, Jamiroquai, yeah. Jamiroquai's their first album, and they were their first album was pretty funky. Yeah, yeah. I guess they got pretty big. I mean, in the 90s you had the funk revival in the UK, like Brand New Heavies and who else? J. Angry Chicken. Oh wait, we're gonna do 4 on the 4 for Doug. Wait, what did I... I did something wrong. Well, I'll just take the kicks out. That's what we'll do. Oh, we got 4 on the 4 for... well, that's not Angry Chicken, that's Boops. Okay, here's Angry Chicken. I love those kind of snare. It's sort of almost, it's timpali type samba. It's got more notes, but okay, we don't want them all the same volume though. Let's make those two loud. There's Angry Chicken, and then boop, beep, boop. Pieces would you would consider Rage funk cross with heavy rock? I definitely agree with you that they're a crossover, but I don't think many people are going to put Rage Against the Machine on at a dance party, But I absolutely agree with you. I mean, you listen to Tom Morello's rhythms. It's really him. I mean, he took funk rhythms and he put distortion on it. But I don't think and then the bass player is generally just most times doubling what Tom's playing, right? But absolutely Tom is, he's playing funk that's distorted. Which depends on the dance party, right? I mean, I think it's because of that funk rhythm in the guitar and the bass. I think it's danceable, but I don't think most people would hear it as classic funk, need something else in here. Let's see, a snare maybe. We need a little bit more. I don't know what it is. You got to see Rage, Chuggy? I bet it must have been so fun to see them back in the 90s. I remember seeing The Matrix in the movie, in the theaters. And when Rage came on at the end of the movie, I felt like people were going to riot. You know, as we're leaving, people were so amped up when that song came on. Just, he says, what about the Meters? I love the Meters. I love the Meters so much. They're so awesome. But yeah, they started in the 60s and 70s. Boop, beep, boop, beep. Okay. They still play. And then, you know, there's the Neville Brothers, which had the organ player for the Meters in it, I think. I never liked the Neville Brothers as much, so. Okay, sounds. There it is. Which one says, all this talk about funk is proof Kid's one of my people. That was the main thing. Funk was the main thing I was into when I was in high school. I was mainly into funk, jazz, rock, fusion. Jazz, rock, fusion, that's one genre. I mean, sometimes it's called jazz rock, sometimes it's called fusion, sometimes it's called jazz rock fusion. But specifically the 1970s version of it, not so much fusion past 1979. And then jazz. That was really the main things I was listening to. But I loved going to record stores and trying to find funk albums. Because this was before Napster or anything, right? So the only way to hear this music was to go find it at an old record store. There was no YouTube. And it was just so exciting to find some record that I'd heard about or I'd read about. And there it is. I can finally hear it. Okay, Sax on the Beach, and then we've got Gelatinous Rainbows. Pieces Scary Golds heavily influenced by the Meters. Staffy Gates of Delirium. And then Vatsky Cybernetic Spine Tingler 2000. My favorite band of all time is Earth, Wind & Fire. My favorite funk band, and Earth, Wind & Fire in many ways is a funk band, but they were just so gigantic. They were a mega pop funk R&B band, ultimately. My favorite just straight up funk band is definitely Funkadelic. Not Parliament Funkadelic. We're talking pure, unadulterated Funkadelic from the early mid-70s. Back when they played electric guitars. And it was dirty electric guitars and grimy drums and just not poppy at all. Parliament's real poppy, and I like Parliament a lot too. But I love the just nastiness, the grit of early Funkadelic. Okay, Cybernetic Spine Tickler. Oh, Cool and the Gang, yeah, definitely, especially Chuggy's album, especially in the 70s. I mean, what's that song? There's that one song that got famous because it was in Boogie Nights, I think. But But I've got all the Kool and the Gang albums from the 70s. They start getting real cheesy in the, I think, mid-late 70s. But the first few albums are just raw funk. Real, they're not sort of slick pop disco yet. Really cool stuff. Jungle Boogie is the big, that was the track I think got used in a movie, and so they got, people started listening again. But yeah, there's so many awesome funk bands in the 70s, just, it's too many to name. There's so many. And then JazzyEagle checks out. Pete with Banana Stars is his debut. Is his name your least favorite funk band then? I don't like criticizing things, but I mean, a lot of the jam band funk bands I cannot stand. I feel like they sort of, and this is totally personal opinion, because, my philosophy is that it doesn't matter what one individual or one critic thinks, but personally, I don't feel like I feel like to them, they're just hearing the rhythm of funk and they're just playing those rhythms. But funk is much more than just the rhythm. It's not just about syncopation. You can play those funky rhythms and it's not funky. Just a lot of this stuff, yeah, I don't. There's very little of the jam band funk bands that I. But Moonboot Lover, they were funk, and they had the real deal. It's just a lot of the 90s jam band funk bands, there's nothing at stake. It just feels like out of a museum or something. There's no, I don't know. I think funk needs to have a bit of combustibility to it, for me. But again, for somebody else, these bands that I'm thinking of, and I'm not naming any names, they might be the funkiest things that ever existed. So, it's all about personal taste. There's no absolute. But one of my other favorite funk bands is War. War from the 70s. They combine sort of Latin vibes with funk. Awesome band. Who else? Love War. Stanton Moore. I don't think I've heard much Stanton Moore. I'll have to check them out. One of the biggest funk bands in the 70s were Ohio Players. I didn't like them as much as a lot of the other bands, but they're one of the most influential funk bands. Herbie Hancock was doing jazz funk. Jeff Beck did a bunch of funk, influenced, fusion stuff in the 70s. Send this bow. What about Chic? They definitely, Chic did some funky stuff. They also definitely were doing some of the disco-y stuff, and there's a lot of disco I like. But I might be misstating, but if my memory of Chic is that a lot of the funk is in the guitar with Chic, and it's less so in the drums. The drums, if I remember, are more in the disco kind of style drumming. But I think probably the guitar and the bass is where the funk was at, less the drums. But I might be misremembering. Because I always confuse disco and funk. Well, they're very closely related. This is a very superficial look at it, but I would say in general, disco drums are not nearly as syncopated as funk drums. Disco drums have 4 on the floor, and they often are doing pretty much 6 steady stuff in the hi-hats. Whereas most straight up funk drummers, you think about James Brown, and they're doing crazy stuff with their snares, and it's just a lot's happening in the drums. And disco simplified it. And then dance music, disco became dance music. Banana Stars. Here we go. 4 on the floor. Hey, Death by Coffee. You love the Chili Peppers? Yeah. They were definitely disciples of funk. They're one of their albums one of their first album, maybe their first album was produced by George Clinton from Funkadelic and Parliament. I think their first single was a cover of a Stevie Wonder song. It was one of their first singles, Higher Ground. I think a lot of people's first introduction to what Flea's all about was that Higher Ground. Here we go, time to accelerate. Open up your memory vault, rummage all around. There's always been a good stuff mixed in with the band. Open up your memory vault, rummage all around, rummage all around. Open up your memory vault, rummage all around, rummage all around. Thank you. Thanks for those calps. Let's see, titles. Well, I use the title from Staffy as a lyric opening the memory vault. Titles, let's see. Chuggy Smalls, Fleeting Desire. Muchmas, Ragtime Inferno. Staffy, Scars from the Rocks. One more, let's see. Doug is stuck in a rap. The pitch bend on this keyboard is messed up, and sometimes it'll bend. I won't even near it, and it'll start bending. So that's what happened on that one synth line in the second section of the song, and I couldn't remember how to access the MIDI pitch bend information that gets recorded in Ableton. It took me a minute to remember how to do it and delete it. Although it sort of sounds cool in a sort of drunk kind of way, the synth line just sort of deteriorating in pitch. Let me shout at some. Oh wait, not yet. Oh, and Hate of Mileage is here. And Hate of Manzanitos. Since we're speaking about rhythm and funk, if you could practice your rhythm or give advice for practice of it, which involves no fun at all because practice should not be fun, what would you recommend? Funk rhythm, I think it seems a lot more complicated than it actually is. I think, it was about, I don't know, 6 months or a year ago, I was talking about how there's really not that many different possibilities in terms of how you can subdivide a single beat, a single moment of time in music, in terms of, non-crazy complicated music, but just in terms of, funk, rock, jazz, for the most part, there's not that many things you can do over the course of one clap, right? So once you learn those, once you sort of memorize what they sound like and play them a bunch, it won't be difficult to read. There's that detuning that was happening. But ways to practice it. Remember, I think I mentioned it once before, but it's something like, what is that site called? Rhythm Randomizer. It's not perfect. It's missing some important rhythms, but you could develop a lot of skill if you just from that site. like is you could basically just turn on some music, like we're listening to this in the background, right? And then go to this site and do things like, and just do the rhythms, you know, and then just keep going through them. Just work on it and do slower beats at first. And this is pretty difficult rhythms to start. You can pick which rhythms you want, but that would be one way to practice rhythms. It's not that boring if you're listening to music at the same time, because then you can hear how those rhythms interact with the music that you're listening to, versus just doing it with a metronome or something. But the first step is you have to learn how to actually read those rhythms, right? So that takes some work. And to do that, I don't know, can you do MIDI? Oh, you can do playback. I think you can hear what it is. I don't use those functions, but I think you could hear it. But I think that's a good way to start getting used to complicated rhythms. But a lot of rhythm is about a feel, and I think that's where, you know, playing music, just learning songs, learning different beats, and just trying to sing or clap along to it. Like if you're playing if you're playing a keyboard or a guitar or whatever, sometimes you're worrying about too many things if you're trying to play the note and the rhythm at the same time. And it's nice to just break it down to just the rhythm. Just focus on the rhythm, then focus on the pitches. If you're playing a pitched instrument, then combine them. But you know, I hear a lot of people, and I am too. I'm often extremely sloppy when I play, but especially beginners, when you're trying to do it all at once, a lot of times people end up sacrificing the rhythm more than the notes. Because as a beginner, it's easier to tell that you're playing the notes wrong than the rhythm. And that's why I think it's worth separating out and just sort of focusing on each. And so you make sure you really have that rhythm down. And Muti, you can also try clapping. If you want to really challenge yourself, Muti, is do freestyle. Right? Do freestyle rap with those rhythms. You'd find yourself having to be really creative with your rhyming to just, you know, working with random rhythms like that. I think, I don't know if you're still doing freestyle and stuff, but that'd be another way to do it if you don't want to just, you know, make random syllables with your mouth. Chorus is with guitar, just practice strumming by playing muted instead of the chords. Which is, and what Cobra is talking about, Cobalt, I'm getting confused by her. Electric Cobalt is, you know, if you listen to a lot of funk guitar, that's what a lot of funk guitar is. They're not playing the chords, they're muting, and they're getting that percussive sound where or most of the sounds that are muted. You have occasional hits. You know, like a James Brown funk line it's hard to sing. It's hard to sing it. But yeah, if you just listen to funk guitar, and it's that, a lot of it. Let me shout out some of these other titles. Electric Cobalt. Story checks out. Jazzy Dissonance at its finest. Mind Over Muti. Star Flea Academy. Wow Soda. We work in the operating room to make sure it's not a fault. Mileage Use. Pun me round. Pete, I put the lime in the coconut. Chuggy, I'm a little flea. Mujamas, Donkey Shin. Staffy, Topic Thunder, Third Dimension, California Cable. Send this bow. Ragtime Inferno. Ragtime Inferno. Muchamas has named it. But another thing you might try, Muti or anyone else who's interested in learning rhythm stuff, is just listen to James Brown funk stuff from the 70s, late 60s. Not the ballad stuff, but the straight up funk stuff, which is generally going to be 1 measure, 2 measure, 4 measure loops. Where the bass player is playing a line, the guitar player is playing a line, and the drummer's playing a line, and just work through each instrument. And for the drummer, you can pick different parts of the kit, just play the snare lines, just sort of figure out the snare lines, memorize them, memorize the bass line. But again, just with clapping or with your just singing along or something, learn just for like a 2 measure loop, learn all the different instruments, their rhythms, so you can sing all of them. And then once you've learned that, be singing at the same time you're aware of what the other rhythms are and the way in which your rhythm for whichever instrument you're singing, the guitar or the bass or the drums, see how they all interlock in interesting ways. Part of being able to play rhythm well is not being messed up by the counter rhythms that everyone else are playing around you, which in most music, they're very complementary. But in funk, a lot of what makes funk is that tension between the different rhythms that people are playing. They're not, people are hitting different parts of the beat. And so you get this sort of, to me, it's a very satisfying kind of disequilibrium. You're out of balance in a way. Rock is so eighth note focused. But funk, it's just all over the place. And when you add 3 or 4 instruments that are all over the place, it creates this, it can be sort of a cacophony of rhythm. But great funk bands, they figure out ways to have people doing different things, but it all sort of meshed together. Okay, milestones. Allegra's 1,650th song. This is such a great tip. I could try to record the rhythms in a DAW and see how much where I need to improve. Yeah. Okay, let's see. How's the new school year going, Allegra? Oh, thanks, Muty. Our drum kit is the minimal electro kit. Like I said, this crazy was going okay so far. And you are doing in-person stuff right now, is it? I think we talked about this. I can't remember, because things keep changing, right? So I know some school districts are maybe reconsidering at this point, but is it in person at this point? Go in person with masks? Are there? Do some of the? It must be. It must be a funny experience. Do a lot of the kids have wacky masks? Because I'm just imagining you're the teacher and you're looking at your classroom, and with masks, every day's Halloween. You know. And can you recognize? I mean, I guess it's hard. It can be hard to recognize people if with those masks on. There we go. Is there a funky drum fill? No? Should be fine. There we go. How old are your kids again, Allegra? Your students? Okay, first up we got Van. Third grade. Hey, Vet Anywhere. How are you? 8 months sub, thank you. Oh, you like? I'm a freshly. Well, actually, it was about a month ago. I think. When did I get it cut? 2 months ago. I think I'm gonna keep it pretty short now, going forward, because I'm starting this YouTube show pretty well. Probably about 3 months. But there's gonna be different characters, and I think a bunch of the characters are gonna have long hair, and I want a very clear differentiation between me in real life and these characters. So several of these characters are gonna have long hair, I think. You got a new job, congratulations. Oh, that's exciting. I'm glad. I hope it's going really well. Here's Van. Have you had time to stream at all, or are you just real busy with the new job and all those things? All that transition stuff. Look at that, 4 on the floor for free. It's a little monotonous though, the way it is right now. Let's get all these kicks, these snares really quiet. Because your hair grows so fast. It does grow fast. Will you cut your hair every month, do short hair first? I don't know. Well, I mean, cutting once a month sounds like a lot of work and time and money. I don't know. Probably. I'll probably let it go a couple months, 2 or 3 months at least, 4 months. As soon as it, I don't know, when it gets to there, we'll cut it. Oh, you haven't streamed? Beth says, I'm managing people in 6 different time zones, and my work-life boundary has been trashed, but I'm getting used to it, and we'll be back streaming soon. Yeah, that's got to be tough. The mole. Are you at least able to have a normal sleep schedule, or you're having to wake up at weird times? Whoops. You're censoring one of the sound names, Tubi? Wonder why. You wonder what's in it. Beth says, I really like it though. It's all about art and music accessibility as tools of mental wellness. So definitely my jam. Oh, that's great to hear. You do have a regular sleep schedule. Oh, that's good. Well, that sounds like a really exciting opportunity. I'm really glad to hear that. Oh, you probably not. Have you heard the news? I'm planning on taking the show moving into a van. Taking the show mobile and starting a new YouTube show. So lots happening. It's still far away. Well, for me, feels it's too far away, but I'm in the planning stages. So I'm going to be driving around the country, continuing to do this show, doing a produced YouTube show. Okay, got our beats. Check out these sounds. You've been thinking about the van or tiny home life for a while, Beth? Yeah. I'll be honest, I was not. I was not until recently. I mean, I dated somebody, I don't know, like it was probably, when she was saying that, it was probably 8 years ago. And, at the time, it didn't appeal to me at all. I wasn't not appealed, but it just didn't really register. And then when I was moving out to New Mexico, one of my siblings mentioned it again as a possibility. And at the time, it just seemed impossible. And it probably would have been impossible then because internet would have been much harder than it will be now. Much, much harder. And then as things started getting tricky financially for me beginning this in May, I started thinking about it again. But this, at first it was sort of desperation. But then the more I thought about it, I realized that it was actually an awesome, amazing opportunity to, in many, many different ways. Because one of my favorite things is to be outside. I love being outside. And there's an appeal to simplify my life. And I think it'll be good for this show. It's going to be a good creative challenge having to do produce stuff for YouTube. It's not my natural way to create. I prefer improvising, so a lot of fun opportunities though. It's a way, my tentative friend, most of y'all know the tentative schedule, but if you haven't heard, the tentative plan is to do some sort of Kickstarter campaign to hopefully raise some funds for the vehicle and the build starting December. Get the van in January, February-ish, and spend a month or two doing the build, and then hit the road in the spring. That's the plan. Or sooner. I don't see it being later than that. If anything, it'll be sooner because of financial issues. So that's probably the latest it would be this spring, I think. Okay, sounds. Bill Muty Dankerson. This is where safety. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking. I'm saying 1 to 2 months because that's a pretty good amount of time to do the build. Because I'm not doing crazy builds like some people. My build is going to be way simpler than most van life people are doing. The reason I want to take a lot of time is, one, I'm going to do videos about what I'm doing. So I'm producing content and I don't want to hurt myself. And I want to do a good job. But I have no experience, so I don't want to rush it. I'll tell you best is if you want a Tubi themed cross stitch merch, I'm your gal. Oh, that'd be cool. You can make two things. We could have two reward. So if anyone who's never been on Kickstarter, what happened? It's a way people use it to raise money to make movies or to create a new product or to record an album. And the way it works is you'll have different rewards. It's sort of like our show where you've got unlocks and goals that you can choose. So on Kickstarter, there'll be different reward levels, but you can put a limit. So there could be a reward level that's $50 that only one person can get. So you have a lot of control over how everything works. And then we got Prog Rock Muted. Does anyone know? I was thinking I might just pledge $1 to a Kickstarter because I haven't done Kickstarter in so long. I did participate in a few, not just as a supporter, many years ago. Has anyone done one recently? Here's my question: when you make a pledge on Kickstarter, can you send a note to the person you're pledging to? Can you do a custom note? The reason I'm asking is, would you be able to include your username with your pledge? Muses, can one of the rewards be a date with Tubi? Potentially. I don't know exactly what would be allowed on this date. But so there's a way to ask those things after campaign, but don't know about beforehand. So the reason I ask is, one thing I love about the way we have it on here is that, I can do things right away. I can thank you right away when you support. Well, I might do one just to check to see. I mean, another thing is it could be if people gave. You can always give a specific amount, right? You have total control. You can choose a pledge level, but also give a little more. Can you do that? Because one way is you could give a donation, but put a specific decimal. It's a $10 donation, but you do $10.12. That, I'm just thinking if I want to sort of, because I'm thinking of launching during the show, so that with the hope that donations go towards Kickstarter, not the normal way. This is the dedicated backers page. Yeah, I mean, whether or not they do, I don't know. They really should, because I think most people who support something, most people generally like to say something with their donation, right? I think it means so much more. I mean, that's what I felt when I've given things. It's really nice to add something. And I remember saying that to Fractured Alice. It's like, you just give one field. You give all these other fields for information. Let them say something, because if you let them say, then it's... but I'm just surprised how it just seems to me the most obvious thing in the world to make it easy for donors to send a message to who they're supporting. He says, I think you can have set reward goals, so technically you can have a cent goal, I think, but I don't think the decimal thing works. I backed our book. There's a comment page for every update you give with project. I think what I'm thinking is, I'm at, if I do the Kickstarter and I launch it at the big show in December with Project X and everything, I think what I would do is, there's sort of a goal and an unlock like on the show. The money pledged to Kickstarter is the goal, and the unlock will be when we hit certain levels, there'll be encores or something. But probably a higher, more ambitious encore level than normal. I've done research and Kickstarter campaigns, most of what they raise in the first week and the last week. So it's not a good idea to do a 2-month thing. It's 30 days or less is the ideal amount of time. And because of the nature of, I think if it works, it's going to be like 80% in that one show, you know? Okay, let's see. It's Focus Kid. Let's see. Prog Rock, and then Soda Razor Wazer. Plus, just a few similar plans. GoFundMe and Indiegogo. Yeah, I've looked at Indiegogo. The reason I was leaning towards, I hear the Kickstarters tend to be more successful, in part because of the all or nothing nature of them, right? If you don't get the whole thing, you get zero. With Indiegogo, if you can get partial, but I will check about the because I wanted that being able to leave a note. I think is really nice in terms of integrating it with the show live. So yeah, I'll look into both those. Razor Lays, then we got I Want to Break FWE from Third Doug. This is a debut. He says, don't overcomplicate it, just give me money for my dreams. Don't give me money so I can do this, so you can do this, so you can do this. That feel like too much work. Well, I think on the Kickstarter page, it'll be real straightforward. I'm just thinking in terms of the show that launches Kickstarter, right? But I agreed. It shouldn't be too complicated. Jack Fousey. And then Mr. Robert Extra Best Friend. He says, will that be Project X? Yeah, that's the plan. It's going to be the biggest show in the history of this channel. We're going to celebrate 5 years on Twitch, which technically has already happened, but I want to wait. Launch of Project X. Launch of the Kickstarter campaign. And I think, debuting my first episode of this YouTube show, which is going to be, one of the more complicated things I've tried to do. And then I'll try to think of some more things. So it's even bigger of a deal. I'll try to get Tubi in a tuxedo. Maybe just a t-shirt tuxedo. What does December look like? It's not far away. So I'd say tentatively I'm looking at probably the 11th. The 11th of December, it's probably the best date, or the 18th. The 18th might be a little, probably the 11th. Wow, which is just 3 months. I still with Project X. There's the more challenging the part. The more complicated part. I'm in much better shape on than the simpler part. Still, I can't believe it. I'm struggling on this part that's supposed to be the easy part. I'm like, I'm at a roadblock, and I've just been hitting this roll on the easy part. Ah! Worst case scenario, what I'm going to do is launch it and say, guess what? I can't do the easy part. We're just going to do the hard part. Someday I'll be able to do the part that you think should be the easy part, but for now we can't. Sorry. That's just going to happen. Okay, let's end this. Ujimas, is it fair to say that Project X is not necessarily exclusive to Twitch? Project X will integrate well into both YouTube and the van. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's mainly for this show, but it will integrate into the YouTube show in some ways. One aspect of it, let me be clear, one aspect of Project X will. Because ultimately, I shouldn't say anymore. Okay. Oh, and mileage named a sound. Young kookaburra incubating. Okay, here we go. Oh wait, still got in the poll. Tie break. Someday, I'm going to have an assistant to help run the show. I mean, it's so good. It's going to be good for everybody involved. I can just talk to y'all, and my assistant will make sure the show keeps moving. They'll take care of all these details I'm doing. Someday. Okay. Unfortunately, Tubi can't do it. Needs to be a human. Here we go. Time to cut to cam 1. And now it is time, finally. I know I'm talking a lot lately. Time to accelerate. There's a tidal wave coming, but I still wanna surf those waves with you. There's a tidal wave that's coming, reckless relaxation with you. Thank you. Thanks for those counts. Let's see our titles. Whoops. Oh, first, lyrics. I took inspiration from Muty's Walking to the Ocean with Me. I took Reckless Relaxation from Beth. I saw Muty's title, My Hands Are Tied. That's where I got title. From Big Child, I just took the word rhythm from Rhythms of the Road. And thanks Doug for 42 months sub. Oh, Doug writes, I found the answer to life, the universe and everything. I think it's ETC Kid. Oh, thank you. And Muty gifted a sub to Sugar, 503rd. Thank you. Okay, let's see titles. Beth Anywhere, Falling Free. Jazzy, here we go again. I'm only Big Child, filling the open space. Mileage in the Breakers. Okay, let's put that title up. What do y'all think the perfect amount of time, prep time, to promote something is? Well, here's my specific question. So, for that show, the December show, I want to reach out to a lot of members of our community that we haven't seen in a while, you know. But I'm very sensitive about not harassing people with messages, you know. So I one message. What do you think the perfect amount of time is to send a message? If a show's on a Saturday, do I do it a week before? Do I do it 2 days before? Do I do it the day of? I mean, it's going to depend on the person, but if we're not going to know what's right for each person, I just go to do it. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily I can't send 500 messages in one day on Twitch. I'll get blocked, so I'm going to have to space it out. But in general, what do y'all think? This is one opener, one reminder. Well, what if you wouldn't mind 2 messages, Blue? How far would they be spaced apart? What do you think? Maybe 2 weeks in advance and then closer to the day? He says one teaser message, one to prime people, one for the actual event. I mean, I'm going to do a lot of stuff. Well, I say that now. In theory, I'm going to do a lot of stuff on social leading up to it. So, but, you know, there's a lot of people that don't check our socials, like me. Obviously, I'm not good at social. Mr. Roberts says, I say 2 messages, 1 2 to 4 weeks, 1 the week of. I know Tubi can send about 100 whispers without getting in trouble a day. I don't know. I haven't tried to push my luck beyond that. And I don't know what I should do as sort of parameters for who to harass. I didn't actually. Tubi says there's 6,000 people who have watched at least 5 shows. Let's see, about 20 shows. Almost 1,500 people have watched at least 20 shows. I don't know how exact those stats are, but Blues, you think? Well, no, I mean, I don't think that many. I was thinking it'd be, 400 or 500 maybe. So those are more. I've never checked those numbers before. Those numbers seem. I don't think I've ever checked them before. I'm surprised, actually. How about 100 shows? It's going to be a lot lower. About 200 people have seen 100 shows. Over 100 shows. Doug says, wait, we're supposed to be watching. Yeah. He says, can say some in advance, don't be afraid to plug your Kickstarter campaign raids. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I am Muty. I'm going to reach out to streamer friends, like friends of our channel, big, music streamers. I will, but I don't know that I can do that. It's sort of frowned upon to promote stuff when you raid unless the streamer invites you to. I mean, I know Muty. I need to think that way. I know I do. Who's been to the most shows? Who has? Mr. Robert says, Tubi. Me and Tubi, I've definitely been to the most shows. Oh, take care, Beth. It was really great to see you. Congrats on your job. I'm really happy about that. Blue says Discord or even email is way better. Oh, I agree. I'll prioritize, but I don't have, I don't have email for almost any. I don't have email for anybody. Which is probably a huge mistake. I probably should have been doing that. Somehow I probably need to start. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if y'all could get an email from Tubi once a week, a custom message. Would you give your email address? Would that be enough of an incentive? Staffy says, well, think about the number of shows you do. 100 shows, 33 weeks, maybe lower to 30 shows. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean in terms of who to reach out to? I'm not sure what you mean. Let's see. Let me shout out a few more titles. Tony Biskabatsky, more eggs than you know what to do with. Electric Cobalt. Mump. Mind Over Muty. Song title. Oh, and I can send a message to subs. I've never done that. Or no, maybe I did it once. Maybe I did it when I did the name change. But we definitely have people supporting the channel who haven't watched in a while. I'm sure. So I could send an email to subs through Twitch, all the socials, Discord. Yeah, I definitely Discord whenever possible. But I don't have emails for anybody. I mean, I guess there's emails on PayPal, but I don't. That feels a little weird. I don't know if that'd be. Because if you buy, if you pay for PayPal, I don't get the emails directly, but theoretically I could go into PayPal but that doesn't feel right since people didn't sort of choose to give me their email to be communicated with. Third Doug mentioned Mic Drop of Water. Yeah, sorry, Doug. Well, you should know that. Yes. Yeah. PayPal gives email addresses. Yeah, you agree, Mochmas. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But so my point, yeah, so I don't have, Doug says, why don't you write me? Well, I need to create a way so y'all can give email, because it'd be really useful to have email addresses, right? For just these rare, because I'm never going to be a spammer, right? I'm not going to be, I feel it's been 5 years and I reach out to people when they first follow and then I don't. And well, I do, at times I'll reach out to people and, but it's generally only people who are currently watching. I'm not going to, because I feel weird about, I don't want people to feel like I'm pressuring them to watch again. Except for this one show. The official slogan is, if you're going to only watch one more show of this, if you can only watch one more in your entire life, it's going to be that show. Project X, launching YouTube. Because I think there's probably a lot of people. Well, we'll see. I'm not going to say more. Jazzy's Wrong Side of the Tracks. Staffy Lanced a Lot. I'm Only Big Child, Rhythms of the Road. Mileage, Fireflies and Waterfalls. Chuggy Doug's Day in the Park. Muses bring back bumper videos. I will, once I set a date, I'm going to have a timer. I'm going to have a countdown. On this channel, I don't know if it'll be, I'm not going to keep the channel live, but I'll put a countdown counting down to the show on radio. And whenever I'm live here, I'll have a countdown. I don't know, maybe on that bottom part of the screen somewhere, just to build it for a month or something in advance. I could almost start it now, but I just mentally, I don't want to jinx myself. But it has to happen in December. I don't have any other option. That's as late as it's going to happen. Or, it's then or never. So the latest it will be is December. Good night, Mole. Have a good one. Blues is never going to be a spammer. Oh, Bandcamp. Yeah, I'm not responsible for those, Blue. I can't. I don't. They send those. Can you at least tell them to stop sending them? Is there a thing that you can say, don't send me these? It's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry I get them too, and I'm annoyed. Because I signed up for an account, just, I waste whatever, I don't know, $3 a month they take out. So yeah, I get those alerts too. He says usually people don't make 1,000 albums. I had more interactions with them. They still haven't fixed. They said they fixed the bug, but they hadn't. And they sent this note. They said, "Well, the reason you're having a problem is this." And I wrote back literally this, and I said, I think I was saying I was going to do this the other day, or maybe I can't remember, but I did it again today. I said, and I updated the number. I said, I've released over 800 albums on Bandcamp. I've been releasing between 2 and 5 albums a week for over 4 years. I know the process of uploading albums. Something is wrong. And then they wrote back and they're like, okay, yeah, you're right. There is something wrong. But at first it said, no, it's your user error. User error. No, not after 800 albums. I think I know what I'm doing. I think. Hey, Duel. Okay, let's see. Oh, we'll do, yeah, we got one more. Blues is a real human, didn't write the message, that was their Tubi. One of the downsides of we just have unlocked all these textures and pads and stuff. And so this time it's, 2 textures and 2 pads and vocals and there's no bass or lead or anything. There's nothing I can sort of work with. So I'm going to tell Tubi to give us at least one normal thing. Not I don't mean normal, but just something that I can actually play rhythm with. You're just insisting on texture. I need to merge all the textures. Then I'll be able to do limits on them. Cobalt just it's Electric Blues current say my name is Electric Cobalt, and then there's Cobalt, who's another member of our community, but they're saying my name is Cobro right now. It's like you've seen I get so confused. Anyway, Electric Cobalt just opted out of everything. Good. Well, but you didn't want to opt out of everything. That's you know what you could do also, because those emails always have the same format. You could just make a filter in Gmail to just filter it into your trash. Just those that match the, some keyword. And Big Child's named it Filling the Open Space. Thanks, I'm only Big Child. Bozkis' keywords like ETC Kid is a new album for download, yeah. Well, it always says the same thing, right? It says, live album pre-order just released. So you could just do pre-order just released. Live album pre-order just released. He says, how about naming your next 100 albums Kickstarter campaign? There might be a few Bandcamp subs who aren't currently regularly watching. So I need to remember to, I think I can send a message to Bandcamp subs. I think I'm allowed to do that. Oh, and then there's followers on Bandcamp. I wonder if I can send a message to followers on Bandcamp. Okay, sorry, I'm just thinking about all this. Drum kit, progressive house. It's funny, we had 2 fast songs to start the show, and then two medium tempo, or 3. Did we do 3? Is this our 5th? No, this could. I've been talking too much. There's no way this is our 5th. It must be our 4th song, right? Yeah, it's our 4th. Really been doing the 4-song shows lately, haven't I? I'm worn out, everybody. I'm worn out. Okay, Dragnet Fascinate from Muchamas. Here it is. It's such a weird hi-hat. Oh, this is not a hi-hat. It's more of a ride, sort of ride bell, sort of. I mean, there's our hi-hat. I like it though. I like the sound of it. And then dual. Here's dual. Yeah, I probably should send. Well, again, it's that question of how many messages can I send? It's the, on Discord there's no issue, but on Twitch, how many can I send before Twitch gets mad? Okay. We got our beats. Check out our sounds. First up, ballad electric bass. From Mudian, then Tony Briskubatsky, Emerald Shimmers. Could I reach out to Twitch? I was thinking I might reach out to Twitch just to tell them about the show. I mean, maybe I'll write a letter to Emmett, and as if I'm on a first name basis. But I don't know. Does Emmett get that many letters? Probably does. He probably gets tons of letters from streamers. Maybe not. Maybe people think, oh, he gets tons of letters. I'm not gonna write one. And then we have Third Dimension with Weight Watchers. Alien Angel Choir. I love it. And then Young Kookaburra Incubating for Mileage. Oh yeah, Super Emily. Super Emily's I think she's still at Twitch. I don't know, but she was a coder at Twitch. And the Electric Cobalt with Chrome Stereo in it. Oh, and I should reach out to Monkey on Strike left Twitch. But does anyone remember Monkey on Strike? He helped manage a creative category early on in the history on Twitch, and Monkey on Strike got me. It's thanks to Monkey on Strike that there's a lot of people here. Still, Monkey on Strike arranged for that for the Bob Ross raid, which the two events that basically put us on the map, and I don't think I would have been able to keep streaming if they didn't happen. Was first couple of streams raid in December of 2017, and then the Bob Ross raid March. I think it was March of 2000. No, couple streams was December of 2016. Bob Ross was March of 2017, right? Let me just make a note. I want to, if only just to thank Monkey on Strike again. I mean, Monkey on Strike also recommended me for that Twitch party, which in itself was not very valuable. Meaning folks were not that into what I was doing. but I got the 4 front page shows out of it, which definitely helped us for a little bit. Okay, I'll pick which sound starts the improv. Miss Robert was part of that. March 2017, I think Allegra was. But a bunch of our mods, the Carnival Bunny, who else? Who are our mods again? Some haven't been here a long time, but Be Crafty. I think Be Crafty was on that raid. I think I can't remember if Azazlin was. Nightwakers is all the old timers, yeah. You know who was here recently? Allegra's Carnival Bunny was here recently. She has an art opening coming up. But she got a job at an art shop a while ago, and she's in the UK, and I think it made watching shows very, very difficult. It's just so late. But I think I was saying yesterday, I think my tentative plan for once I hit the road is to do an earlier show on Saturdays, so that it's easier to do stuff outside while there's still light. And upside of that will be to make it easier for folks in Europe. Although it might be harder for you, Muty, right? Because you're pretty busy most of the that early evening, mid-evening, right? Send this Pope. Alien Angel Choir. Oh, thanks, Moody. No, you got a lot of other fun things, but it's all tentative. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the idea of doing shows outside, it's very possible that it's a great idea in principle, but in practice, I'm gonna hate it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I love being outside, but this show is so complicated. I don't know if it might be just too much to deal with. I mean, remember when I first started thinking about the van thing, I was really thinking about literally hiking with the show on my back to cool places. Just a heads up, I'm not really going with that idea anymore. Especially after I fell. So the idea of hiking with 50 pounds of gear on my back to some remote location to do this show when it might start raining at any moment. So instead, the plan is to be able to open up the back doors of the van and have the gear right there the camera's inside of the van. So as long as I'm parked looking out in some cool place. But maybe people just want to see the light show anyway. Maybe I just need I don't know. But I could do that outside too. I could just hang a sheet. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Time to accelerate. like you normally do. Walking down this dusty road, 50-pound pack. Don't you worry, I'll never bring your sorrows back. Do me a favor, don't forget my name. I'll take all your sorrow, so things won't ever be the same. And this is an old man with a 50-pound on his back. Atlas looks so tired walking around that cosmic track. Thanks for those calps. Let's see, titles. Electric Cobalt, Wayward Sons, Luggage. Staffy, Countermeasures. Two more. Doug Old Shoulder. And Jazzy Mint Melody. Okay. Whoops. Let's get that on the board. I used a bunch of titles as lyric inspiration. Muty gave me 50 pounds of gear. Also, Funhouse, Broken Mirrors from Muty. And Atlas, Change of Guard. Staffy, do me a favor. Hey, Muffin. Send this Poe. And it's Blue, Wayward Sons, Luggage. Thanks, Blue. Wayward Sons, Luggage. Oh, there's some. Oh, I missed some. Say my name. No, Oh, Mind Over Muty became Muty name for training purposes. Mangoes. Oh, that's just for training purposes. Okay, I get it. So you still want to be Mind Over Muty. Electric Cobalt is now just regular old blue. Chucky Smalls is Jubro. Tubi wants to be known as Horatio Smackdown. Also wants to be known as Pumpernickel Hampson. Also wants to be known as Schmitty Schmidt's Fire. Also wants to be known as Sass Crump Burning Edge of Camelot. That's a horrible name, Tubi.
You're a batch of peppers short of being able to stop me.
Okay, let's see. do our SETLIST one time. We're live from Spiraling Out of Control. We did Lightwave Bebop, Ragtime Inferno, Filling the Open Space, and Wayward Son's Luggage. Did I miss your Say My Name, Doug? Oh no, could you submit it again then? Because there were so many. Tubi had 100 or something. Can you resubmit it, Doug? What did I just do? What Doug's got it? Our superstar mods, Allegra and Tubi. Thank you. Thanks so much to Mr. Robert for the donation. Thanks to our subs, Muty gave to Rowdy Truger and Wookie 2085. 12 months for Angry Chicken, 10 for Bean Salsa, 8 for Beth Anywhere, 42 for dugDbug, 29 for Mole. Thanks to our lurkers and chatters. Now it's time for the shout out. These 22 names you see on screen either named our current tour and named our venue. In one of our songs, made a request on one of the songs we featured. Angry Chicken, Bean, Salsa, Beth Anywhere, Bodybuilder, Tupistanga, Chubro, Dual, D-Bill, I'm Old Big Child, Jazzy, Just Regular Old Blue, Mileage, Mind Over Media, Mr. Robert, Mucha Moss, Not a Wigger, Pete Mouse, Staffy, What Doug's It Do, Ton Labirsky, Botsky, Tight Weiss, Vaccinated Mole, Wookie 2085, and Wow, Soda. When was this recorded? Is that the right song? Is that actually it? That was older. It's funny how, because I can't practice, and horns especially, they're such physical instruments, so many muscles involved. It's really random how good my tone is. So my trumpet tone there was, from my point of view, much better than it normally is. My flute tone, but it just depends on the day, you know? If you practice all the time, you know what you're gonna get, because you're just in shape. But when you're not in shape, it's very arbitrary what your tone's gonna be. I don't mean what I'm actually playing, I just mean from a purely technical point of view. So you can have bad tone but still make, hopefully, good music. And bad isn't even, I don't like that word, but it's interesting how it works sort of randomly. That's why I started playing trumpet again. Because I'm like, I don't sound like this very often. I'm going to play more. That's why I played twice on the track. I usually don't pick up an instrument twice. You just hear good vibrations. Thanks, Meaty. This name is just taking up space, Mangoes. Hopefully, I'll be able to start practicing. Hopefully, things will get easier when I get to the van and I can practice these more. This is what I'm bringing. Sax, flute, trumpet, melodica. That's it. And a keyboard. No trombone. There's no space for a trombone. And trombone just takes up so much. You know, I mean, this is, I mean, how much. I need more than 6 feet clearance. You know? Well, I guess it's from here, so it's probably, I don't know. Maybe it's about 5 feet I need. Maybe this is no triangle now. Doug says flugelhorn. I love flugelhorn. Someday I would like to get one. I might, instead of bringing the trumpet, I might get a pocket trumpet, because that'd be even smaller. But I think I'm going to have plenty of space for those instruments. What I want to have is, in the van, I'm going to have a sliding vertical wall that can slide out just during shows, and it'll be only about maybe 5 to 7 wide. Because I'm not going to be able to bring cases and stuff. But one of the things I gotta be careful about is with most people's van builds, everything opens up to the side of the vehicle. My design is going to be opening up towards the cab of the vehicle, which is dangerous. So I need to come up with some sort of latching system. I want the things to be locked. And then, I don't know, something where I can, I don't know, turn a latch that so that I don't slam on the brakes and I get skewered. Skewered by flying cutlery or the kazoo. ETC kid killed by his own kazoo. Back of the head. At 80 miles an hour. Let's see who we're gonna raid. What's this? Is this a sax player? Oh, wow. Oh, he's got some crazy instrument. What is this? Oh, we gotta raid this guy. What is that? What is that? Oh, wow. This is gonna, I can't wait to hear what this is. Oh, wow. That looks interesting, whatever. Y'all gotta do this raid so we can see what this guy's that they're playing. Okay, thanks everybody. We got one more show this week tomorrow. I hope to see you then. Hey, Hug Queen. Let's do this raid. See you, Fulcrum Tales. Have a wonderful whatever comes next, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay, take care.